How do you know you are awake right now? If sensory data, memories, and thoughts are all constructed and interpreted in the brain, what reliably separates waking from dreaming? Now push the question one step further. What if reality itself functions like a dream, not your private dream, but a dream occurring within an all-encompassing consciousness? This is the claim found in the writings of the 12th-13th century Sufi philosopher Ibn Arabi. He proposes a model in which existence is a mode of divine imagination. In this lecture, we will examine that model, relate it to contemporary cognitive science on perception and consciousness, and ask what changes in practice when we treat the world as imaginally real, dependent, meaningful, and continuously renewed. The goal is clarity. The line between dream and reality is not erased. It is redefined. Modern life suffers from a crisis of perception. People routinely conflate what appears in consciousness with how things are in themselves. Perception is not a camera feed, but a constructive process. The brain generates top-down predictions and updates them with sensory error signals. Perception is a controlled hallucination. Attention biases what becomes salient. Mood and memory weigh the model. The practical consequence is familiar: stress, attentional fragmentation, and a chronic sense of disconnection. When transient mental images are treated as absolute reality, emotional reactivity escalates. If science says our access to the world is mediated by internal models, and Ibn Arabi says the world itself is imaginary, are these perspectives describing different layers of the same phenomena modeling within a modeled cosmos? Ibn Arabi, known as Al-Shak al-Akbath, greatest master, was a Sufi philosopher from Andalusia whose work integrates metaphysics, psychology, and cosmology. His vision is summarized as the unity of being. For him, creation is the real's continuous self-disclosure through forms. His thesis can be stated succinctly: the world is imagination within divine imagination. Understanding this leads to a more accurate appraisal of what life is, meaning expressed as form. Ibn Arabi argues that the cosmos is an imaginary existence. It is real in the way a dream is real to the dreamer, experientially concrete, yet dependent on the dreaming consciousness. Two registers must be kept distinct: the absolute real, the unconditioned being of God, and the relative real, the manifold forms in which the absolute discloses itself. From a neuroscientific perspective, this is not as alien as it sounds. Contemporary theories view perception as simulation. The brain builds a generative model and compares predictions with sensory input. The seen world is experienced through models. Ibn Arabi extends the modeling claim upward. Not only do individuals model the world itself is a presentation within divine awareness. In sleep, events feel categorical until one wakes and recognizes their dependency. Analogously, living within creation is living within a divinely sustained field that appears categorical from the inside and dependent from the above. You do not live inside matter as a brute substrate. You live within mind, divine mind. The world is a mirror in which the real recognizes his names. Every being manifests a distinct divine name: mercy, wisdom, power, beauty, and so on. No finite form exhausts the real. Each reflects an aspect. Existence becomes a process of the real seeing his attributes in differentiated mirrors. Identity is also reflective. Humans develop self-models through interaction. Knowing occurs through reflection. Ibn Arabi's point is ontological. Events, persons, and histories are feedback loops through which the divine names are recognized in time. If reality is a mirror process, then encounters are not random collisions, but occasions to witness a name at work. Creation is not a single past act. It is continuous. At every breath, the world is renewed. The appearance of continuity results from memory knitting the frames. Psychology agrees that consciousness stitches discrete moments into a seamless flow. The metaphysical claim is deeper. Each instant's being is gratuitous and sustained. Reality is dynamic, not static. It is process, not frozen substance. Present moment attention aligns with how being appears continuously renewed. Existence is God's meaning breathed into time, again and again. Humans are not merely inside the dream. They can become aware within it. Ibn Arabi treats the human as a bridge capable of reflecting both the absolute and the relative. This capacity aligns with metacognition awareness of awareness. Metacognition enables emotional regulation, reappraisal, and deliberate attention. Spiritual maturity is not magical control over events, but clarified participation, recognizing, I exist within divine imagination, not as powerlessness, but as alignment with a larger intelligence. Life is lived less as reactive identification and more as contemplative observation with responsible action. You are the reflective point through which the dream becomes self-aware. A frequent misunderstanding is that dreamlike implies unreal. Ibn Arabi rejects this binary. The world is real relative to its plane. God is the absolute real, creation the relative real. The visible world is symbolic truth, meaning expressed as an image. Therefore, ethical life matters. Consequences are real within the imaginal register. Denial is as mistaken as naive realism. Illusion is not falsehood. It is truth at lower resolution. How does this translate into practice? Emotional suffering intensifies when mental images are treated as absolutes. Cognitive reframing teaches that thoughts are events in the mind, not facts. Ibn Arabi's lens generalizes this. The world itself is imaginary. Relate to it with interpretive humility. Mindfulness trains non-identification with passing content. This aligns with Ibn Arabi's witness stance. Focused attention rehearses the shift from reactive absorption to reflective participation. Imagination is a sacred faculty. Visualization recruits neural circuits overlapping with perception and action. Imagine embodying a divine name such as mercy before entering a difficult conversation. You are not forcing outcomes. You are shaping your readiness to reflect a particular quality. If each person reflects a name, meet them as a partial mirror. This reduces projection and moral absolutism. It does not excuse harm. It locates behavior within a larger interpretive horizon that supports accountability with dignity. You do not change reality by coercion. You align with the dreamer's rhythm, clarifying perception and refining response. Contemporary debates in philosophy of mind increasingly question materialist closure. Some models suggest experience may be fundamental rather than derivative. Ibn Arabi anticipates a consciousness-first ontology. Being is not in matter. Matter is in being. The real is not an external craftsman, but the ground of appearing. Physics describes emergence in terms of fields and symmetries. Ibn Arabi describes emergence in terms of names and self-disclosure. Both reject naive dualism. The utility is not in collapsing science into mysticism, but in recognizing that inquiry and contemplative metaphysics can be mutually illuminating. Reality is not built of particles alone. It is organized by perception and meaning. The world functions as divine. Imagination experientially real and ontologically dependent. Every form is a mirror of a divine name. Reality is a process of self-recognition. Creation is continuous. Each moment is renewed. The human being serves as the dream's witness, the reflective bridge, capable of meta-awareness. Perception governs experience. Awareness governs peace. The aim is not to abandon the world, but to perceive it accurately as symbolically true, ethically serious, and continuously meaningful. Control gives way to intelligent participation. You are not merely living in God's dream. You are the locus through which the dream becomes aware of itself. The world is not brute matter or empty illusion. It is meaning continuously imagined by the real.